Okay guys, so I'm going to teach you guys about tangent lines. A tangent line, it's a line that goes up against a circle, but it cannot go through the circle. So you're imagining a circle, and then like if you grab a pencil and you push it up against the edge of the circle, but it cannot go into the circle. So if you only push it up against the circle, then it's always gonna follow the curve. Like if I placed it on this other side, it would go like, sorry, closer to the edge. That was terrible. But it would just go on the edge of the circle. So even like here, it would go like something like this, right? If you placed it on the bottom. If you placed it on the left, then it would go like that. If I placed it here, then the tangent would look like that. If I placed it on this side, then it would look like this. It cannot go into the circle. It can only go on the edge of the circle. And that's a tangent. That's a tangent line. So tangent lines intersect a circle at exactly, they're only going to touch the circle at one point called the point of tangency. So that's where it's touching the circle. And the line, a line is tangent to a circle if and only if it is perpendicular. So it's going to be perpendicular to a radius drawn to the point of tangency. So like here, if the tangent line is touching the circle like that, and then you go to the center of the circle and bring it to the tangent, then this is the radius, and now it forms a 90-degree angle. So it creates a right angle. It's perpendicular. That's what perpendicular means. It's going to be a right angle at the point of tangency. So what we're going to do is we're going to check. What you're doing is you're checking if it is a tangent or not. So you're telling me yes or no, and you're providing the work. So how do you know if it is a right triangle? So what we're doing is we're saying, hey, which one is the tangent? The tangent is going to be the one on the outside of the circle. So this 15, that's the tangent line. And we're trying to see if it is a tangent or not. If it is a tangent, then it's going to make a right angle, a perpendicular angle with the radius. So if it does that, then basically it made a right triangle. And if it makes a right triangle, then Pythagorean theorem should work. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Remember, c is always the largest side. So that would be the 17. You have to put the 17 at the end. The 15 and the 8 don't really matter. So what you're doing is you're checking 8 squared plus 15 squared. Is that going to be equal to 17 squared? And then you use your calculator. 8 times 8, that's 64. 15 times 15, 225. Is that going to be equal to 17 times 17, which is 286? So when you add these up, 289. And this side is 289. So because they are equal, then yes, the line AB, this line, right? The line on the outside of the circle, it is a tangent. Yes, it is a tangent. Because it worked. Because it did create a right angle. And Pythagorean theorem worked. So now, that's honestly what we're doing. We're just checking if AB, so this is AB, is this a tangent, yes or no? That's what you're deciding. So the right angle would be here. So we should do 11 squared plus 14 squared. 11 squared plus 14 squared equals, what does it equal? Maybe it equals something else squared. And just know that this side is not, this is 5, but we still need to add this extra piece. And how long is it? Well, it's the same as this one because it's a radius. They're both radiuses. So it's got to be 11. So 11 plus 5 is 16. That side is 16. This whole side right here is 16. And that's why it goes at the end, because remember, it's the biggest side. So that's the C. So now you double check it. 11 times 11, 121. 14 times 14, 196. And then 16 times 16 is 256. So now we add them. We get 317. And that is not the same as 256. So on this one, AB is not a tangent. It did not work. so it's not a tangent. So really, that's all you're doing. You're kind of going through the problems and checking whether it is a tangent or not. But I guess on this one, we're not checking. We're actually solving for x. So just double check. This side is 7. This side is 19. Those are the two that we should be adding. And it should equal x squared. So we should do 7 squared plus 19 squared equals x squared. And we're solving for x. You should always, always, always be adding the two short sides. So that's going to be the radius and the tangent. Those are the ones that you always add. Those are the ones that you always add. Okay, so 7 times 7, that's 49. 19 does 19, and then you add them up. We get 410 x squared, and then solve for x. So take the square root of both sides, and we get x is equal to 20.2. And we're done. So that's how long that side is, 20.2. And now it would work as a tangent. Number 4, we should be adding, where the 90-degree angle is. It would go right here. So we should be doing x squared plus 11 squared. That's what we should be adding. X squared plus 11 squared equals, is it 7 squared? No. So this is 7, and then this is going to be 11 because this one is 11. From the middle to the edge is 11. From the middle to the edge is 11. So that's going to be 18 squared. Okay, so KL, from K to L, this is 18. That's what we want to add. Okay, and then let's keep going. So we get x squared, 11 times 11 is 121, and then 18 times 18 is 324. Now we solve for x, so we're going to subtract 121, and we get 203, and then we take the square root. 14.2. That's kind of how you're doing them. So I think for the rest, I'll help you start them, but I'm not going to finish them, and then it's your job to finish them. So again, we should be adding where the 90 is. So this is 24, and this one's 10. But then for KL, if this is x, and this is going to be 10, because this side is 10, JL is 10. So those are both 10. So what that means is that this side from K to L is x plus 10. That's literally what it is, and you're just going to leave it like that. That's how we're going to leave it. So if we are doing our math, we would do 10 squared plus 24 squared equals this might be extra work to do it this way. So to be honest, I'm going to restart this problem because then you guys would have to FOIL. So instead, we're going to call this side for right now KL. The whole thing, we're just going to call it Y. So then what we're doing is we're still doing 10 squared plus 24 squared. 10 squared plus 24 squared equals Y squared. Okay, so right now when we find the answer to y, it's going to help us find the blue line, the whole blue line. So 10 times 10 is 100, 24 times 24, add them up, we get 676. Take the square root, so y equals 26. So what that means is the whole thing is 26, but we don't want the whole thing, right? The question just said to find where x is, so I want this part. And if from the edge of the circle to L it's 10, but if the whole blue line is 26, then that means that x would just be 16 because you subtract them, right? X plus 10 is 26, so then subtract 10, x is going to be 16. X is going to be 16, the other side was 10, and when you add them, you get the 26. Okay, well, I think you guys can finish it. This one, J to L is 11, so L to M is 11. This whole side is 22. And then we have x and 25, and the right angle should go right there. So then what should you guys be adding? We should be doing 22 squared plus x squared, because we want to be adding where the 90-degree angle is, and then it equals 25 squared. So you want to solve for x. On this one, same thing. If this is 3.5, then this is 3.5. So that means that the whole side is 7. This whole side is 7. And then this side is 6.4, and this side is x. The 90-degree angle would go here, so that means we should be adding where they meet. So where the 90-degree angle is. So you should be adding 6.4 and 7. That's what you should be adding in your equation. 7 squared plus 6.4 squared equals x squared. And then you solve. There's decimals, it's okay. And for the last one, if we have x, then this one is x. So really it's 2x. Or you can call it y. If you want, we can call it y. Let's do that for this one as well. So we're going to call the whole thing, we're going to call it y. So then we have a 7 and a 25. We should be adding 7 squared plus y squared equals 25 squared. And then when you're done solving for y, just make sure you cut it in half, because y is telling you the diameter and you just wanted the radius. Hope this helps.